Guys, welcome to the channel. I want to share with you a recent purchase of mine. This is the Girard-Perregaux Gyromatic High Frequency. I just bought this from one of the owners of Hudson Time. He collects vintage or very rare Girard-Perregaux, and I managed to talk him into selling me one from his personal collection. And he overnighted it to me a couple days ago, along with a handwritten letter with some very nice calligraphy that I really appreciate. So a big shout out to Hudson Time for hooking me up with this really cool and very rare historical gyromatic from one of the best Swiss watchmakers that you can buy from, Girard-Perregaux. What makes this watch so cool? There's some really interesting details that kind of surprise you. Now, this particular version is from the late 1960s, early 1970s, and for the time, it's a very large and substantial watch. The weight and the heft is actually quite surprising when you hold it in person. I'll throw some specs here on the screen so you can see just how almost modern sized this watch really is. And the reason for that is Girard-Perregaux wanted to create a watch that was really good against shock. So you can see a very substantial cushion case design. It's really good with absorbing impacts, and as you can see over the 40 plus years that it's been around, it's taken some good dings here. And the movement is actually covered with a metallic shroud that acts as a Faraday cage, and it directs magnetic flux density around that movement. So it's exactly the same as what you would find in a Rolex Milgauss. In fact, the case back actually says super anti-magnetic, which I think is really, really cool. Now, the movement here is very impressive. This is, again, the gyromatic high-frequency movement. It's a proprietary movement from Girard-Perregaux. It first debuted in 1957, and gyromatic refers to GP's design for automatically winding the movement. The rotor turns two barrels that they call gyrotrons, which is a very effective way of winding the movement. It's quicker than the standard automatic winding designs of that period. Now, in 1965, they upped the beat frequency and created their first high-frequency movement that ticks at 36,000 vibrations per hour, and that's what you have here. So you can see a super smooth sweep there to that seconds hand. It's incredibly fine, and it's a very accurate movement. These things were chronometer certified back in their day. I'll drop a movement shot here. I actually had Hudson Time send me a video of the movement as they were servicing the watch. This thing just recently had a service, and you can see the movement's actually really cool. This is known as the caliber 440, and it's quite impressive. You got a day-date complication here at the 3 o'clock, and mine has the Spanish-only date wheel. The thing that's interesting is you have a quick-set date that's engaged by the crown by pushing and pulling the crown. If we look at the dial, this is probably my favorite part about the watch. It's a beautiful tapestry dial. It's in the rare ivory tone color, and you've got large planks subdivided by very small planks. And it's just a gorgeous backdrop for those applied faceted indices and that long stick handset. So, I mean, it's really, really quite sharp. And if you look at the 6 o'clock position just above the 6 o'clock marker, you can see the observatory print and then the words high frequency. This is probably my favorite part about the watch. It's a very rare print. They don't come up for sale very often. And that observatory print's actually in reference to what's probably GP's most well-known tie-into history. So in 1967, they submitted their movement to the Neuchâtel Observatory in Switzerland for extensive testing. That observatory would take the watch and they would test the movement in 5 different positions, in 2 different temperatures, 10 times for a period of 4 to 5 days per rotation. It had very strict tolerances for accuracy, tighter than what the COSC does today. And so to actually get a movement passed with an observatory chronometer status was a very difficult thing to do. And Girard-Perregaux was the first one to submit a high beat frequency in for that type of certification. All the other brands like Longines and Zenith were submitting watches with low beat frequencies. They had large balance wheels that were highly modified, basically pocket watch movements. And so Girard-Perregaux kind of changed the game when they released that, and they had a high level of success, which is very impressive. In 1967, they were awarded the Centenary Certificate for especially good results, the only company to receive that award from the observatory. So I think that is really, really interesting. And if you look at that logo, it's actually designed after the real Neuchâtel Observatory. It's very detailed, and I just think that is a really cool tie into history, kind of a tribute to what Girard-Perregaux is very well known for. So in the end, this is just a really cool, rare watch. It's in original condition. You can see it is kind of worn, even from the ghosted bezel, the box crystal. I mean, there is some scratches and dings and signs of sustained use, but I really dig it. I really like the fact that this is all original. This does have some really cool history, and it is a very rare piece. I like it on this rally style strap, which is handgemacht in Deutschland, or handmade in Germany, and it just sets the watch off very well. So anyways, really cool watch, really rare watch, really fun history tied in to this piece, and I'm just super fortunate to have been able to add it to my personal collection. So thanks, Carmine and Dennis at Hudson Time. You guys are awesome, and I definitely would recommend, if you guys are interested in vintage, check out their website, get in touch with them. They can hook you up with some really, really cool pieces. So anyways, let me know if you guys have any questions. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.